Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Yep, we're at this one. Um, I am really curious of what the sequel trilogy is going to be like because this is the first time I'm reviewing and watching the sequel trilogy as like it's over. Because I talked about these movies as they were coming out, but not as like a complete thing. And so this is the first time I'm actually going to be watching all these as a complete thing. So I'm curious. But I guess we should start with a story, kind of my mindset going into this movie. This was the most hyped movie of all time. This movie, everybody I knew was excited to go see this movie because The Force Awakens, this is unheard of in franchise culture now, but like, there was not a Star Wars movie for years. And so when Star Wars came back, it was a fuel under everybody's ass. Everybody was excited. Now, me, I wasn't very excited because I didn't really believe that George Lucas's vision was really meant to be in Disney's hands. And in some ways, I still don't. I don't really hold that opinion now because I'm like, George Lucas was not that great looking back on it, but he had great things about him. But, but this movie, even I can't deny, there was just an excitement that even I had, even trying to deny it back then. I remember my uncle, who I've literally never done anything with, we went to go see this movie together. We were excited. Like, just think about that. I saw this movie multiple times in the theater, and we were all excited, and I had a good time, and I remember the big excitement when they dropped all the toys and everything. I remember my brother having the little BB-8 thing that rolled around. There was just an excitement that Star Wars was back, and I think part of that is that, of course, this movie is a remake of A New Hope, obviously, and that's been criticized to death, even on my end. But I think that there's also just, when you actually sit down and watch this movie, Rey and all these characters they're in awe of things they're seeing. They're in excited, man. The movie makes you feel excited, and I don't feel like that's in a cynical way. I mean, yes, it was by design, but it also feels genuine. And I think this is a pretty good movie in terms of like a new start to a trilogy. Is it perfect? No. I really think it is kind of lazy in some of the retreading of shit. Like, why are we doing the Death Star again? Come on. I can deal with the other beats being similar, but the idea of like doing another Death Star is just like fucking ridiculous. But even saying that, this movie did give us new characters. It gave us Rey and Finn. And while Rey wasn't the best character as the trilogy went on, when you watch her in this movie, you actually really like her because she has this infectious energy, especially with her chemistry with Finn. Finn is a great character. He's funny. He has a great character arc that felt like it was really building somewhere. All of this really works. Cinematography is gorgeous. The score to this movie is great. Like, and the mix of like practical and digital effects does not get praised enough because I feel like it really is like there was a lot of practical effects and CGI mixed together in a way that all looks gorgeous. This is a gorgeous looking movie. Han is great in this movie. That scene where he's like, the Force, the Jedi, it's all true. All of it is great. I love Maz Kanata. Like, I love so much about this movie. It's hard to watch this movie now because you know where it all goes. But if you just watch this movie by itself, man, I do turn on this movie every so often and just have a good time. Is it my favorite Star Wars movie? Not really. I don't really care for this movie. I think it's a very, very flawed movie. But man, there is an excitement when I rewatch this movie. And I don't think it will ever truly go away. And that's odd to say for a movie that I think all these years later, man, was it so disappointing.